Right, next song.
Well, it's not a song, is it? It's an instrumental.
Instrumental. I thought it was a nightclub in Thailand when I saw it at first.
Obviously, it's named after Nkomo, President Nkomo. But interesting point is that it's an instrumental and the horns are played by one man, Brian Travers. He's playing two saxophones at the same time, which not a lot of people can do.
Not a lot of people know that.
And he used to do that live as well. He used to play the two saxes at the same time.
There's great video clips that you can find on YouTube.
Have you seen that, Martin?
So yes, I saw that from the get-go, the day one.
Would that be Norman at his finest then there on the old bongos?
I was just going to say, mention for Norman, some great percussion on this album. There really is. Some great congas, bongos, syncussion, all sorts of stuff going on.
I'll tell you what, that would make a great detective series signature tune.
Yeah, it's got something sort of cinematic about it in a sense.
That's what Walcott, the detective program, wasn't it originally?
It was.
It's very African influence as well. Fell around some kooky kind of vibe as well, innit?
Yeah. Well, that's why it got the name Nkomo A Go-Go.
Yeah, of course. You got the African posse.
Does it matter to you, Earl, whether a track, in terms of bass, whether it's sort of instrumental or it's a lyrical song? We don't get to ask you too many questions about your part in terms of playing the bass. Is there much difference at all?
Well, we usually just jam a load of tracks, get a load of tracks together, and then the lyrics and it just forms. But basically, we always start up with a load of backing tracks that we just jam out of fresh air, basically. Or a chord sequence. How do you mean?
I could say that from Jimmy's point of view, you would imagine that some tracks seem particularly difficult. It might have a lot more to do than on another track that's more simplistic, for example.
But it's all about us basically trying to be as tight and as expressive as possible, really.
Yeah. The thing is, though, our tunes start out as instrumentals. Almost always, 99% of the time, they start out as instrumentals. And it's not so much Earl trying to fit to a song. It's about us fitting to Earl's bass line. And Ali always said, every time he was ever asked about being a tunesmith, about the melodies and where he got them from, he always said that he couldn't come up with a melody if it wasn't for the bass line. He always worked off the bass line. Obviously, he's guided by the chord sequence because that gives him the structure. But the bass line was where he got his melodies from. Every tune he ever came up with, he said, was because of the bass line that Earl was playing.
But also, we might do a backing track first, but then once the song's down, you get an opportunity then to, in my case, I might want to put some punctuation in.
Of course, and you always revisit
it,
to punctuate the track, to add drama to verses and choruses and changes. But Earl doesn't change his bass line very often, do you?
No, because obviously it's a riff, and then obviously you might change a chord sequence.
Occasionally you'll redo a bass line, but it's the same bass line, you just change it slightly to feel.
Yeah, it's really interesting because as a non-musician, it's always been difficult for me to know who's playing what noise and where does that noise come from. And I happened upon a copy of Who You're Fighting For, which was a stripped down version. It was the demos, and it was just Earl on bass and Ali on vocals, and that's it. There's no other instruments on it. And since I heard that, I've always now been able to depict Earl's part in a track.